Good morning. And welcome. We are going to start off with a song, Surprise, Surprise. And
how unusual.
We're holding off on the Beatles until 12:30, so just so you know.
It was hard. It was tough.
It's been a hot... No. But we'll start with this one. If you'd like to stand and sing, you're welcome to.
In beauty may I walk all day long. May I walk through the seasons. May I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace on this path. May I walk through my life. May I walk in old age. May I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk. 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 May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. In joy, may I walk. In love, may I walk. In gratitude, may I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. In stillness, may I walk. In forgiveness, may I walk. In loving kindness, may I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk. 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 May I walk in peace. May I walk. 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 May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk
Thanks, and welcome, Karina.
Good morning, Unity. My name is Karina, and I just been reminded, just by being here, what a wonderful thing it is to be here in present. I'm one of the ones who hides under Zoomlandia, but what a pleasure to be here, what a pleasure to meet everyone, to hug people. I have forgotten that we've been doing that before, and how much I miss it. So, welcome. As a center in prayer, I'm bringing you a reading from Divine Audacity. This is a book that we have read a couple of years ago, and it sort of teaches us how to pray in a centered understanding that we are God, we are one with God. So, I focus my attention on love within my body, on love around my heart. I focus that attention on this radiating center of love. Divine love is my name and true nature. I gratefully acknowledge that the well of love can never run dry, for the source of love is eternal. Under the influence of love, I awaken to more love than I ever known before. I call forth the magnetic power of divine love. My thoughts are magnetic. Whatever dreams I am holding, I sense through them the pink light of love. I center myself in realization that the dreams I have planted and I am devoted to must bear fruit, but the magnetizing power of love. I call forth from within me the harmonizing power of love. Love harmonizes my thoughts, words, actions, so that I see things rightly and bring about good. I see myself, others, and the conditions through the lens, and all conditions through the lens of harmonizing love. I express love by seeing the good in all. I am the harmonizing power of love. I call forth from within me the unifying power of love. I am divine love, unifying my thoughts, words, and actions until I know only oneness. I see myself in others, others in myself, and God in all of us. For I am one. I send out from within me the pink light of love, blessing me, blessing all the people around my life, blessing our community, and blessing the world. I am the power of love, loving. We are a praying church, and we have a wonderful team of prayer chaplains with us. And I would like to recognize if there are any prayer chaplains here today, if you could please raise your hand or stand up so to be recognized. Thank you. So we have four wonderful prayer chaplains. And if you would like to pray with them, with one of them, please see them after church in the back of the church, and you find a private place to pray with you. And now, the announcements. So, what is going on at Unity? First of all, I want to welcome Phil Goldberg, that is here with us today. A whole church in various spirit groups have been going through a journey of finding spiritual practices on our crazy times. So we were all reading Philip's wonderful book. So we are I am delighted to see him here today. So please, the announcement for him, right there. So please join us for a workshop today, after church at 12:30. He's going to be very much better than I explaining what he's going to do, but it sounds very interesting with the power of the Beatles and the spirituality that they brought to the West. And so, because we're going to be doing, the music team is going to be helping with the Beatles transmission program, there's not going to be a one song tonight. So this is going to be wonderful. There's going to be I'm assuming there's going to be some songs, lots of music. So not to be missed, right? If you love one song, change your habit of coming at 7 and come here today at 12:30. And we have a new class starting this week on May 24th. So this is a program that is going to be held on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., right after meditation. So if you come early, you have the wonderful combo of meditating first with Reverend Brigid and following with her leadership in going through these wonderful lessons. I think many of us are familiar with that, but it's always good to come and revisit the principles from a new point of view that is brought by Reverend Brigid. Next, well, I don't know how many weeks. In a few weeks, on May 28th, 2 weeks. Next week. May 28th, we have the Social Justice Circle. This is an active group that has taken a few projects, in particular, helping the building of the well in Africa, if I understand so. They're also involved with the refugees that are coming to the capital region. So please come and join the group if you are so called. And then on June 4th, we have a special meeting. This is a membership meeting. So that you know, we are a community. This church is your church. Those principles are imbued in the bylaws where the power of doing anything relies on you. You vote people onto the board that take care of the operating, the things that need to be happening for the church to operate, but you still hold the power on many things. And we need you then, because on that day, we're going to learn about what the heck is going on with the church. You have seen those steps in the front, right? So those need to be repaired, and that's not the only thing that need to be repaired. There are other things that need to be fixed around, and we need you because we need your power to mandate the board and the church to do the fixings that need fixing, right? So it's like if we are going to spend $1,000, no big deal. We don't need you. Sorry. But if we're going to spend a considerable amount of money, then the bylaws has stipulated that power is on you. So you need to come, learn what's going on, learn how we are striving to make this better, and maintaining the church and improving wherever we can. And we need your approval. So I'm done. I heard somebody sighing, so I'm done. And the daily word for today is protection. As I practice the presence of God, I feel secure. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God, omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence is not only all around me, God is within me. As I take these truths to my heart, I feel calm and secure. The circumstances of the world have no lasting power over me. God is greater and more enduring than anything that I may be called to face. I have within me the power to feel God's protecting presence at any time. As I pray, I affirm the strength and power of God are mine to call upon. I can use these divine powers to move beyond that which may scare or intimidate me. In renewed faith and deep security, I move bravely forward. The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. John 4:4. Back to Roger.
Okay. We're celebrating the arts and creativity today, and I think this song speaks to that for us.
You will do amazing things with the joys each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing
I'm going to step in front of the podium for just a second so you can see my 70s vibe striped pants.
I had a pair of those, so just let you know.
That's what I heard. So welcome, welcome. Phil, I am so glad to welcome you back here. As Karina mentioned, we had about 65 of us in this community do a book study over the winter with spiritual practices for crazy times. And we're excited to hear another talk on a different topic from you. And I selfishly am extraordinarily glad about the timing because it gave me a window, not having to prepare a talk today, to fly to Michigan with my daughter Sarah and her little guy Eli, who's 21 months old. And through his eyes, everything was amazing. There is no, what a gift to see the world, the beauty of nature, taking walks in the rain, splashing in puddles, coloring with markers. We lose that sometimes. So to have a chance today to really tap into how the arts can feed our souls and what does it mean to live a life of creativity. So I welcome Phil and I welcome all of you. It's so good to have the energy in this room. For sure, come back at 12:30. And those of you at home, we do feel your presence and we carry you with us into our morning as well. So I'd like you to pause with me, kind of take a look around at the amazing beings in this room. And send that love out to the amazing beings wherever they are watching from. If you are new to us here today, can you wiggle your fingers if you're not too shy to do that? We have any new folks with us this morning? Just lots of friends returning. Okay. Well, good to have you all here. So one of the things that I have come to really treasure about us as a community is that we gather when we are together to really hold a vision of who we are in the world and how our love and our creativity and our presence, how we're called to transform the world. Our last song today will be Love Is My Decision. It's one of my favorites. And so I'm going to ask you to just pause for a moment before we say those beautiful words of our vision and mission. And Karina, your prayer about harmonizing love and being love, what does it mean to you as you individually call forth that vision? The Creator calls us to be creative. The source of love calls us to be love. So we bring our individual cells of that vision into our vision together to make this more than words. We envision a world transformed through the spiritual awakening of all. And we gather together to strengthen our resolve as we live into our mission. We awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service in our community and in the world. And in that depth, in the presence that we are, wherever we are, breathe into that experience of oneness. so that as we say these words, we feel that power. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Hey, I'm the one who had 5 hours of sleep.
Deeper and deeper I surrender. Deeper and deeper I surrender to this love. Deeper and deeper I surrender. Deeper and deeper I surrender to this love.
There's
Nowhere I have to go, no one I have to be, nothing I have to do but gently There's nothing I need to hold on to, nothing I need to give to you, nothing I need to do but gently
As we come into a time of meditation, I invite you to surrender deeply letting your body rest wherever it is that you're sitting. Sense the back of your body. Just noticing the physical sensation of all of the places where your body is touching. And let yourself surrender. Gently feeling yourself held. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can let your eyes close or just soften your gaze. Surrendering to this moment. There's nowhere for you to go. No one for you to be. You simply are. You simply are. A divine vessel of love. Sense that light of love radiating up from the ground where your feet rest, breathing gently into your belly and chest. Sensing it float out through the crown of your head and radiating out from your heart as you gently breathe. Simply breathe. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. A divine expression of the Creator. One with all that is. Held in love, radiating love, filling your well with love. And then deepen your breath. Surrender with a sigh. Come back fully into this space, ready to receive the gift of our friend Phil's wisdom this morning. Surrendering to hear the words that will awaken our souls today.
Good morning, everyone. It's really good to be back with you in the spring and to talk about art as spiritual practice to set the stage for our festivities this afternoon. And I hope you'll all be able to come and celebrate and sing and dance with us. There's a few aspects of art as spiritual practice I want to share with you, and one is the making of art, the creating of art. There's something any artist will tell you, anybody who does creative work will tell you that there's something mysterious about the creative act. Something, if you have the right perspective, sacred about it, that when you tap into creativity and imagination and the intuitive insights that come in the act of creating, you're tapping into layers of consciousness or awareness that's very similar to, or if not identical with, what you might experience in deep meditation or prayer or acts of devotion. And that's not a coincidence. Artists will tell you that things just happen. There's a certain flow you entered into. It's like grace. I have spent most of my writing life writing nonfiction, but I've also written fiction. And they're very different, because when I write fiction, it engages the imagination in different ways. And things happen. I'm working on a novel, and I'm having the experience that many novelists talk about. You create characters, and you put them in a place, and they start doing things. and if you're smart, you just let that go, and you see it happening in your mind and do your best to remember it or write it down. You're taken by surprise. Amazing grace. You're tapping into something, and all the great artists do that. They don't have to be by nature spiritual. They could be profane. They could be jerks. They could be, people you wouldn't want to hang out with. Picasso, by all accounts, was not a pleasant human being. But in those moments of creativity, they're tapping into something akin to epiphany and revelation. So the first bit of advice I have is to do creative things. Make art. Write stories. Tell stories to your grandkids. Paint. Build things. Dance. Sing songs. Take up an instrument. Bang on a drum. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to worry about what other people think. Just do it for yourself. And if you have the right attitude toward it, it's not only fun and satisfying, and you may or may not end up with something you want to share with any other human beings, let alone frame or put on your wall. But you will be engaging some deep part of yourself, and expressing something that is already there. So just do it. I have to do it because it's my profession in many ways. But if it weren't, I often think, what would I do if there was any conception in my life of retiring? And I think, well, I'll probably write a novel. It's one of the things, I've always wanted to write lyrics to music. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I'd do that. But it's a good practice. And it's especially conducive to those, that connection with the divine when you do it in conjunction with your ordinary spiritual practice. If you have a meditation practice, a daily prayer practice, whatever it is, if you're settling into a deep state of quiet, on the heels of that, on that foundation, do something creative, sing a song, paint something, draw something. You'll be surprised, and it's an adjunct. It's bringing the grace of ordinary spiritual practice out into the field of expression. And that's a good habit to get into. And the other aspect of it, of spiritual practice, art as practice, is when we partake of art. And we see paintings and sculptures, when we read great poetry and fiction, when we listen to music, as you will this afternoon, some of the great music of our era. Something happens to us. We've all had that experience of being deeply moved by beauty, by a work of art. It's happened to me in museums, especially if there's no one around taking selfies in front of the paintings. And of course, it happens when you read great poetry or, listen to great music. Music especially. There's something, about about sound and that medium that, well, artists have known that, and spiritual teachers have known that. There's something beautiful in beauty. There's something that elevates the soul, something that cracks open the heart, something that opens the mind. We've all had that experience of, it was so beautiful, it took my breath away. What is that moment of no breath? Except it's a yoga. It's a practice. It's something that stirs something holy and sublime within us. It's if you have the right attitude and you go to a concert or an art gallery or a museum of where the quality of the art is high, or you're sitting in solitude reading a poem, it's almost like being in a temple or a church, or it's like in the Hindu tradition. The yogis have a term called darshan. Maybe you've heard it. Darshan is essentially being, it has to do with being in the presence of something holy. Usually it's the darshan of a saint or a guru or a high, spiritual master, but also in the temples, in the gazing at the images of that, how the divine is depicted in many ways. In the Western world, it might be looking at, the stained glass windows or the sculptures in a church. There's something holy. Well, a museum can evoke that. And there's essentially two kinds of art we can partake of in the context of spirituality. And one is art that's intentionally spiritual. It's meant to convey a spiritual message. It's meant to instruct or inspire or to evoke a kind of grace, some kind of connection to the divine. Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, they all wrote sacred compositions. I'm not Christian, but every Christmas I listen to the Christmas oratorio. On Easter, I listen to music that was composed to celebrate that element of the tradition. I go to India very often. I go to evening artis, rituals by the Ganges, and there's always chanting, the chanting of sacred mantras. Kirtan, that many of you are familiar with now in the West, the chanting of mantras back and forth. Hymns in a church. Hebrew chanting in synagogues. The music of the Sufis. These are all explicitly spiritual themes. Even pop music. We'll hear today George Harrison especially composing lyrics meant to convey spiritual messages. In the lyrics, and also in how the sounds are arranged. Many other, even ordinary pop artists have created. In fact, I just read a review of it seems that Paul Simon has a new album coming out, and he's 82 and thinking about the end of life. Leonard Cohen did something very similar, and it's called Psalms. And they're all original compositions, but they're not about falling in love, as a teenager anymore. Bob Dylan did something like that, trying to get to heaven before they close the door. There's lyrics and themes that are explicitly spiritual, and even Madonna had, Sanskrit chanting in some of her songs. And in dance, sometimes they use movement to tell spiritual stories from whatever tradition it is. And of course, the museums are filled with medieval era paintings of biblical scenes. These are meant to instruct, not just to move you by their beauty, but the combination of the beauty and the content can do something if it resonates with you. The faces of the saints, Buddhist statue. I mean, everybody has a Buddha on in their lawns now. It evokes something. And I'll tell you, when I was in the very early stages of exploration of things that are spiritual, and especially of the East, I moved to Boston in the 60s, and I met someone who said, oh, you should go to the Museum of Fine Art. They have a room they call the Temple Room. It's all Buddhist statuary and plants. And I went, and I happened to be alone in the room, and it was this mind-boggling experience. I'd never seen anything like that before. And I went and I looked at the faces of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and the statues, and I said, whatever those guys had, I want it. You could feel it. It evokes something. That was a spiritual practice. I didn't know it was. I thought I was going to a museum to see paintings. But in the same museum, subsequently, they have a lot of Impressionist works and Renoirs. This is just scenes of beautiful women in cafes in Paris and all that sort of stuff. Well, it evokes a similar experience. So it doesn't have to be so-called sacred art. It could just be really beautiful, really something about a composition, something about the way sounds are put together in music, something about a poem. It's not necessarily the content, not necessarily the meaning. It's the sheer beauty of it and the sheer structure of it, that it could be something profane, in terms of, it could be just an ordinary love song. It could be, in the yearning you hear in love songs, oh, I miss this person and oh, I want love and all that. Well, if you forget about romantic love for a minute and you think of just wanting to love and divine love, there's not much difference. And that's why love songs can move us so much. When I listen to Billie Holiday or any great singer singing a song of heartbreak, that it may just as well have been a biblical prophet singing about the longing for God. It could be Rumi's poetry with the longing for the divine. In fact, you read the Song of Solomon, scholars, they're always arguing over whether he's talking about a profane love for a woman or the love of God. Either way, it moves us in a similar way. It opens something up. Keats said that truth is beauty and beauty is truth. And you think, oh, that's a poem I learned in school. But think about it. There's something really profound about that. Truth is beauty and beauty is truth. And if you think about truth in the highest sense, the most beautiful things are the most holy things. And there's something about when you walk in the woods and you're in nature and you're moved by the beauty of it all and the wonder of it all. One of the reasons that can be a spiritual experience is you feel this deep sense of appreciation. And it's only natural to then say, well, to whom do I express this appreciation, this gratitude for this beauty? It's an act of creation, so credit goes to the Creator. And that's what happens. Well, it's a similar thing if you listen to great music or look at great art or read a great poem. You feel moved and you feel appreciative. And you can thank the artist, but then you can take it a step further and thank the creator of the creation that gave us the creator of the art. And it becomes an act of spiritual gratitude. When I was reading poetry, I remember discovering Gerard Manley Hopkins. Do you know him? A Christian monk who wrote the most sublime poetry, and much of it is about the holiness of nature. I wish I could remember some of the lines. And not long after that, I discovered Dylan Thomas. You don't get more profane than Dylan Thomas. This is a drunk who, used to get drunk in the White Horse Tavern a few blocks from where my brother lives in New York, and there, it's like a shrine to Dylan Thomas. And, he died on the street, a drunk. But read his poetry about, when he's in nature in his native Wales, and it's just as moving as Gerard Manley Hopkins or John Keats or all these people who are explicitly religious and explicitly spiritual. So that's the other message, which is partake of the arts. Partake of it. Go to museums, go to galleries, read poetry, read great stories, go to concerts. But here's the other message. The degree to which taking in art is a spiritual experience depends a great deal on what you bring to it. What attitude, what consciousness, what level of receptivity are you open to the experience? Art can take us by surprise, as we all said, but there's an old, I often like to quote this. If those of you who read my last book for the series you did, this will sound familiar, but a Zen master said that enlightenment is an accident and meditation makes you accident prone. Shakespeare in Hamlet says the readiness is all. So if you're ready, if you're prepared, grace just happens. But it's like the wind just happens, but if you're in a boat, you want to set the sails the right way. So if you enter the experience of participating in art, witnessing art, hearing it, seeing it, and so forth, with the right attitude and the right frame of mind, you're more receptive to what it can bring to you. Same with walking in the woods or anything else. I've often said, if I walk in the woods, it could be a sublime experience, or I might as well be on a treadmill in a gym, depending on what I bring to it. So appreciation and receptivity to the beauty and the content of art, we have responsibility for ourselves to get the most out of it. If you bring to art the same reverence that you would bring to seeing a cathedral or going to a temple or going to a national park or whatever it is, you'll get more out of it and you'll be able to absorb it as a spiritually uplifting practice. Very similar to your meditation practice, your prayer practice. If you come to it with an open heart and an open mind, and you don't analyze unless you're reading a good murder mystery, then it's okay to analyze. And you don't evaluate and you don't judge it, you just take it in with appreciation and gratitude. It's a spiritual experience. So I will leave you with that and invite you to come this afternoon. Don't analyze it. Don't judge me or the musicians. Just take it in, enjoy it, and we're going to have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun this afternoon. I hope you all come and feel free to sing along and dance and relive your youth. Thank you for you.
I hate to tell you, but it really was my youth. I was in middle school in the 70s and high school. Thank you very much, Phil, for those really good reminders about the receptivity of what it means to settle into that openness and the ability to receive beauty wherever we are. And that is really one of the biggest gifts of this community, and how we have drawn beauty around us. So we're coming to our time of offering, of remembering what that receptivity is as well, being in that flow. But we have a new friend to Unity of Albany these days, Lisa Nelson, who a couple of weeks ago played her violin, talk about the beauty of art. So we're going to say our offering blessing in just a moment, and then Lisa is going to lead us in, just time of being open and letting that vibration of her beautiful music playing on the violin fill our souls. And so as we come to this moment, you know, Karina did a good job telling you, like, yeah, if it's $1,000, we don't need you. but we do. We just don't need the decision-making part. One of the things that is a truth that I have come to trust in my year and a half here at Unity is the sense of the divine flow. It is one of the gifts that you as a community have given me. In this saying yes, it has helped me to trust. And so when you think about the flow of love, the flow of your gifts of creativity and presence that you bring, we recognize that some of that flow is the financial way that we do keep this spiritual home alive and growing, because it is alive and growing. And so I thank you ahead of time for those gifts. And I especially thank you for the gift of how you show up to make this alive with love. We're not always perfect at it, but we are perfect at it. And so let's say together the words of this blessing, and then we will hear the blessing of Lisa's playing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Amen.
Hi. Step closer. Okay. I chose this piece because of the reverence in it and then the potential for bliss. That was imperfect, but I enjoyed it.
I hope that that translated into the Zoomlandia world, because the vibration in the room is very juicy. Wowza. We come in gratitude to bless these gifts of love, trusting that we will use them to transform the world with our love as a beloved community. And so it is. Amen. So there is this gift of showing up that for me is the way that I then can step back out into the rest of my life. And there are all of those joys and sorrows that we carry with us in our day-to-day. There is the weight of what the world in the small room looks like. And we gather to let ourselves feel what it is to feel spaciousness. And so I invite you in this time of community prayer, before we say our prayers, prayer of protection, to say out loud or to just hold in your heart those things that you want to know that we are holding the high watch with you. You could say those out loud or to yourself now. Say for Beth and Billy, Ed and Sarah and their beloveds, those babies. For our country. And as we hold together all that we show up with and as, that beautiful image of holding the high watch together, of remembering that we are imbued with the divine. And for some folks who have been part of Unity communities for a long time, the words to this prayer, as James Dillett Freeman wrote it, are what really resonates for you. If that's the case, then I invite you to say it that way. But we've really come to love this reminder that we are how God shows up in the world. So if that helps you wrap your heart around the words this way, I invite you to say them that together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are unrepeatable expressions of the divine. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen. Just quickly before we have this last one of my favorite songs, for the Wednesday meditation and for the Four Agreements book study, that is going to be both in person right here and on Zoom. Okay, so if you, it'll be great to have a chance to be together and be in the room to talk about that and to read that. And then we do have some friends that can't get here in person, and so I'd like to have that open for them as well. So it'll be both meditation at 6:30 to 10 of 7, and then the book study starting at 7. So right here, in person, and on Zoom.
Okay. I invite you to stand if you're
So inclined.
so inclined. 1, 2.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now.
Okay, don't forget, go grab some lunch, be here or be square, because it's going to be an amazing. I heard the first rehearsal of the musicians the other night, and it gave me chills. So
It got
come
even
on back.
better.
It's going to be a beautiful program. All right.